everyone, welcome to Essie Speaks, and today I will be sharing 3 lessons that I've learned in my 3 years in marriage. Are you ready for it? See, I'm already blushing because I can't wait for you to hear these lessons. And I'm sharing these lessons today because I believe that someone out there can learn from it and can use it in her marriage, or someone out there that is planning for marriage can listen to this and be blessed and adopt it if you feel that it's going to be useful to you. Okay, let me just give you a short story, brief overview. I got married in 2021, in February 2021. In short, February is my best month of the year now because a lot of good things happen in February, and as time goes on, I will share you some of the other things that happened to me in February. So I got married in February 2021, and this is my 3rd year in marriage. I've not gotten there. I'm not 10 years in marriage yet. I'm not 20 years in marriage, but I've learned a lot of lessons, and out of those lessons I will be sharing 3 of them, and I'll just go straight into the video to share the lessons. Lesson number 1: have a good relationship with God. It is important that you maintain a good relationship with God. Your spiritual life is okay, is intact, because your relationship with God would reflect in your relationship with your spouse. And I believe in family prayer, joint time together as a family, and it's very, very important, but it doesn't replace your own personal time with God. And in your personal time with God, God can deal with you as an individual. He'll deal with you individually. He'll tell you areas where you are weak, where you need to improve on. So lesson number 1 is have a good relationship with God. And if you have a good relationship with God, He builds your character, He builds your stamina, He builds your strength, He builds your wisdom. And in my relationship with God, I've had opportunities where God has taught me like how to be a good woman, how to be a good wife, and in areas where I'm lacking. And as important as having a good relationship with God, it's also important that you are open and you are teachable, because God may be saying something to you, and if you refuse it, there is nothing that He would do to you, and you won't be able to implement it in your marriage. So you have to have a good relationship with God, and you have to be open, attentive to His voice, because so many times when I want to be strong-headed, God just tells me, what you just did now, don't do it again. Or you just tell me, Esther, apologize. And that apology is all I need to make everywhere peaceful. And sometimes He just says that word that you're planning to say, zip up. And that can be very, very difficult to do, because you have it all planned. You want to detail your action, you want to explain why you feel the way you feel, and why what you're saying is what the person that your spouse needs to, not how you're feeling. And God knows that if you say it in the way that you're saying it, it would affect your relationship with your husband. Maybe he would not perceive it in that way, and He says keep quiet. And if you do not have a good relationship with God, you will not even hear His voice in the first place, and you will not know when to keep quiet, when to buy gifts, when to cook a good meal that can change his mind, when to do certain things that can just change the ball game, because it's not going to be all rosy, because you are 2 different human beings coming from 2 different perspectives, coming to live together as one, and your perspective will differ and your way of life will differ. And if you do not have a good relationship with God, and you are not open and attentive to His voice, obedient to His voice, it will affect your relationship. And what has worked for us is having to listen to God, having to obey God. That silent voice, when He says be quiet, when He says apologize, when He says relax, when He says go and do that, when He gives instructions. So it is important to have and maintain a good relationship with God, in addition to having joint fellowship, study time, prayer time, and all of those family events. So that is lesson number 1. Lesson number 2 is ensure your goals are aligned. Your purpose has to be aligned as a couple, as a family. And it doesn't have to always be the same, but it has to be aligned, and you have to support each other. So imagine someone going to London and someone going to America. You will not be on the same plane because the destinations are different. So basically, as a couple, as in your marriage, it's important that both of you know what you want to do part time, and they are aligned together. Like there is synchronization. Not that this person is saying, "Oh, I think that God is leading us here," and the other one saying, "No, no, 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 we're going this way." That way, you'll be in disagreement. And the Bible says that can two work together except they be agreed. So for two people to successfully work together, they have to agree, and there has to be an alignment of purpose. So in terms of when it comes to what you want to do, okay, bearing children, okay, I don't want to have child now, or I want to have child later. This is my opinion, this is my belief about bearing children. This is how I feel a child should be raised. This is where the career path I want to pursue, and your husband should agree with it, or your wife should agree with it. And these are things that you should have actually discussed before you got married anyway. But if there are some changes in marriage and your spouse brings up, "Oh, this is where I feel God is leading me to," let me say the husband, he's the head of the home, he says, "Okay, God is leading me towards this path." As a wife, you should be supportive. Now, when you don't support your husband, or as a husband, when you don't support your wife, it could lead to resentment, in the sense that I feel like there's a part of me that is not shining, and the best person in the world that should be there to support me to achieve that is not in support of it. And that would also impact your relationship, because the friendship will be put to test, the relationship will be put to test, because you will feel like I'm not the best version of myself. And that is not what marriage is about. Marriage is about helping each other to achieve purpose, which is the purpose of God. And once you're not able to help each other, it would affect your marriage, it will affect your relationship, it will affect your love life, it could even affect your spiritual life. So both of you have to have similar goals, similar purpose, or agree with each other's purpose and work towards it, supporting each other. And once both of you can support each other, work together, there is nothing that you cannot achieve. And in my marriage journey, that's something that has helped me. My husband has been very supportive. If I say that, "Oh, I want to take this course," he knows that, "Oh, I need to take that course," and he supports me. And if it means researching a particular material, "Oh, I think you might find this useful," he gets that for me. And I put in my best effort, even by sending messages, just a simple message, "Oh, you are the best, I know you can do this, don't give up." When I feel like, "Oh, I'm tired, I can't do this anymore," he just pats me at the back. He says, "I know you can do this." And that word of encouragement encourages me to be more. Also, in his own journey, he might be planning a program or planning something. That is not the time when I should bring give a list of things that we need to do in the house. No, it's a time for me to, okay, what can I do to support this vision? What ideas do I have that I can contribute? Where do I think you need to go in this plan that you have? So basically, both of you should be able to understand each other's goals, put yourself in each other's position, and support each other to be the best version of themselves. Once your partner supports you to be the best version of yourself, or to support your partner, there is no limit to what you can achieve. And that is very, very important. So that is summary of my second lesson. So helping each other to achieve our purpose has been a source of encouragement, and something that has boosted our love relationship to keep growing and basking even up to today. Okay, now let's go straight to lesson number 3, and that is always have time for review. Be open to feedbacks and work on the feedback. Now, I know you say, oh, I'm not saying, I've not mentioned some key things that you're expecting, but these are lessons that I've learned, that major lessons that have helped us, and that's what I'm saying is. So basically, when we just got married, I think every month, if I'm not mistaken, every month we usually have a review. I like, okay, tell me what I'm doing right, tell me what I'm not doing right. I ask my husband, okay, my husband to ask me, okay, tell me what I'm doing right, tell me what I'm doing right. And by that, because the busy life, the busy city that you live in can impact your relationship, that you will not even have time to speak, to communicate, even though you're living together, because there are so many things that are coming in your way, and you don't know when those critical moments, those little things that you think are not important can actually impact your relationship. So when we just got married, every month we usually have review, and that was really helping us. We were able to communicate our feelings, our expectations, and after a while it stopped, and of course a lot of responsibilities came in. So we now made it quarterly and annually. So every quarter we have like a review session. Sometimes we go to somewhere fancy, sometimes we do it at home. We just, okay, tell me what I'm not doing right, tell me what I'm doing right. So basically it's open communication, and I'm sure you must have heard it before, or if you haven't heard it before, it is important that you always communicate with your spouse. Your spouse should be your best friend, and one of the key lessons that have helped us is or that has helped us in our marriage is to always speak to each other, to always have review. And then we talk about, and we're always open during that review time. It's not a time to form or anything, like you're speaking with your spouse, why are you forming? Like, okay, there are some things you're doing that I don't like, and these are areas that I need to praise you, and these are areas that I think you need to work on. So we always have time for review. We review quarterly, annually, and then we could review as far back as when we started. What were the things that we used to do? What were the things that we are no longer doing? What are the things that we can do to spice up our marriage? And also we also talk about our yearly goals. Every quarter we review our goals to see, okay, are we in alignment? Are there areas we need to improve on? So the review session is always very important. And also the feedbacks, being able to act on the feedback. So because it's easy to make a review and you're there being defensive and all of that, but once you're open and like, okay, I know I have not tried in this area, I need to work on it, I will work on it. You make that decision and you work on it, so you just find out that everything starts to turn out good, turn out better. So having regular review sessions and being open to the review and accepting the feedback and then working on the feedback has really helped us in our marriage. So those are the 3 major lessons that I've learned in my 3 years of marriage. So let me just give you a summary in case you forgot. Lesson 1, have a good relationship with God, because your relationship with God will reflect your relationship with your spouse. Lesson 2 is that your goals must be aligned, and lesson 3 is that always have time for review. I hope you were blessed by these 3 lessons. Thank you.